One of the greatest mysteries of human existence is the question of identity. Philosophers, psychologists, sociologists, and self development coaches have all asked, who am I? At first glance, this seems like a simple question. Yet, when explored deeply, it opens a vast reflection on the true nature of human beings. We all think we know who we are, but in reality, our identity is far more malleable, conditioned, and evolving than we often imagine. In the framework of identity shifting, the conscious act of changing one's sense of self, it is essential to first understand what identity is, where it comes from, and how it shapes our behaviors. This foundation allows us to consider the possibility of transforming who we are. The word identity comes from the Latin identitas, meaning the same. Identity is therefore what makes us consistent with ourselves despite the passage of time and external changes. From a psychological perspective, identity can be defined as the sum of beliefs, behaviors, habits, values, and perception that a person holds about themselves and the world. In other words, your identity is the collection of your answer to the question, who am I? I am shy, identity. I am athletic, I am lazy, or I am ambitious. Again, that's identity. These statements are not eternal truths. They are stories you repeat about yourself, which gradually become your reality. Identity is not innate, it is learned, built, and reinforced over time. Several factors contribute to this. Family. From childhood, parents and siblings attach label to us. You're quiet, you're naughty, you're smart. These words, repeated, become internalized beliefs. Society. Schools, friends, media, and culture provide models that shape self perception. Personal experiences. Every success and every failure builds our self image. An embarrassing moment in class may create the identity of bad at public speaking, while a compliment may spark good communicator. Self talk. The way you speak to yourself internally reinforces identity. Phrases like, I'll never make it, or I can do anything, are never neutral. Identity, therefore, is the result of progressive conditioning. You were not born shy, confident, messy, or hardworking. You became that way through repetition. Major mistakes people make is to believe that identity is fixed. They say that that's just how I am. People don't change. I was born like this. In psychology, this reflects a fixed mindset. People with this belief limit themselves because they consider trait as unchangeable. Yet, research shows that identity is malleable. Carol Dweck's theory of the growth mindset suggests that abilities and personality traits can evolve through effort, practice, and learning. Similarly, James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains that identity is a byproduct of habits. If you exercise regularly, you become athletic. If you procrastinate daily, you become a procrastinator. Identities follows action. Thus, identity is evolving. It changes whenever beliefs and behaviors that support it change. To understand what can be transformed, identity can be broken down into several components. Belief, what you hold as true about yourself. Habits, repeated actions that define you. Dominant emotions, anger, joy, anxiety, calmness. Language, the words you use to describe yourself. Environment, your surroundings and the people around you. Values and aspiration, the deeper motivations guiding your life. Each of these elements can be questioned, dismantled, and rebuilt. Most people do not choose their identity. They simply accept the one shaped by family, society, and past experiences. This is the unconscious identity. But there is also conscious identity, the one deliberately chosen. Identity shifting is precisely about this choice. Instead of passively accepting who you are, you become the architect of your self future. Example, someone might say, I am someone who hates reading. This is unconscious identity. But if they choose, I am becoming a passionate reader, learning to enjoy books, they have begun identity shifting. The difference lies not in abilities, but in the decisions to redefine yourself, oneself. The difference lies not in abilities, but in the decisions to redefine oneself. A concrete example of identity transformation from shy to leader. A teenager who sees themselves as shy avoids social situations, but by choosing to become a communicator, they start raising their hand in class, then speaking in groups, eventually becoming a charismatic speaker. From messy to organized, someone identifying as chaotic can decide to become structured. By making their bed daily and keeping a tidy desk, they embody their new identity. From smoker to non-smoker. The real shift happens when someone stops saying, I'm trying to quit, and instead declares, I'm not a smoker. These cases illustrate that identity is the root of lasting change. Changing actions without changing identity leads to temporary results. But identity change triggers deep and sustainable transformation. Identity can be a prison. If you believe I am unlucky, I'm bad with money, or I can't change, you will unconsciously repeat those patterns. Your brain constantly seeks to confirm your beliefs. But identity can also be a key. By consciously choosing a new identity, I am disciplined, I am confident, I am capable, you direct your mind and behavior toward new realities. True freedoms lie in understanding that you're not what you have always believed. You are a collection of choices and you can choose differently. Understanding identity means realizing that it's not destiny, but a flexible construction. It is built through beliefs, habits, language, and environment. It can be entered unconsciously or shaped consciously. Identity shifting begins with this realization. You are not trapped in the image you currently hold of yourself. Your present identity is only one version among many possible. At any moment, you can step into the role of architect of your future self. The process of identity shifting. After understanding what identity is and how it is constructed, the next step is learning how to consciously change identity. The English term identity shifting refers to the process of leaving behind an old version of yourself and embodying a new one. It is a journey that requires awareness, courage, and consistency. Contrary to popular belief, changing identity is not about luck or New Year's resolution. It is a structured path that follows clear steps. In this chapter, we will dive into the process of identity shifting, exploring the core stages, practical methods, and common obstacles to overcome. Step 1. Identifying the old identity. Every change begins with awareness. The first step is to identify the current identity you carry. Many people fail at transformation because they try to adopt new habits without addressing the root, how they define themselves. This requires asking fundamental questions. What stories do I tell myself about who I am? What limiting beliefs shapes my behavior? What repeated actions currently define me? What excuses do I use most often? Example, someone who constantly says, I have no discipline, I always start things without finishing, is living under the identity of the chronic procrastinator. This person can read every productivity book on the planet, but as long as they see themselves this way, they will return to old patterns. Identifying the old identity is uncomfortable. It forces us to confront contradictions and failures, but it is crucial. You cannot leave a house until you know which house you are in. Step 2. Creating a clear vision of the new identity. Once the old identity is acknowledged, the next step is to define the new identity you want to embody. Here, clarity is power. Many people fail because they set vague goals like, I want to be healthier, I want to succeed, I want more confidence. Identity shiftings demands a precise vision. How does this new version of me think? What habits do they live by daily? How do they handle stress and challenges? What language do they use? Who do they surround themselves with? A practical tool, identity visualization. Every day, take a few minutes to imagine your life as if you were already this person. Feel the emotions, adapt the posture, think with the words. Neuroscience shows that the brain does not fully distinguish between vividly imagined scenarios and reality. When experienced With intensity, mental rehearsals sends a strong signal to your subconscious. This is my new reality. Example: a student who identifies as average can craft the vision of being disciplined, organized, engaged in class, and ambitious. By repeatedly playing this mental movie, they begin behaving in alignment with it until it becomes natural. Step 3: acting as if. This is the most powerful and misunderstood part of the process. Many believe they must wait until they feel confident, succeed, or become legitimate before acting like the person they want to be. The truth is the opposite. By acting as this person now, you become them. This is known as the act as if technique. Want to be a writer? Write every day, even before publishing. Want to be a leader? Start taking initiative, even without an official title. Want to be athletic? Move and train like an athlete, even before you have your body you dream of. Concrete example: a smoker who says, I'm trying to quit, continues battling temptation daily. But someone who declares, I am not a smoker, shifts the entire identity. Actions naturally follow. Step 4: reprogramming the mind daily. Changing identity is not a one time act, it is a daily training. The old identity does not vanish overnight. Your brain will resist, your social circle may remind you of your old self, and past habits will attempt to resurface. This is why regular reprogramming practices are essential. Identity affirmations. Avoid vague phrases like I try. Replace them with clear statements. I am disciplined. I am confident and calm in all situations. I am becoming a successful entrepreneur. Identity journaling. Each night, write down 3 proofs that you act in line with your new identity. Example: today, I finished my workout even though I didn't feel like it. That proves I am disciplined. Environment design. Your environment is a powerful identity shaper. If you want to shift but remain surrounded by people reinforcing the old you, the transformation will be difficult. Sometimes stepping away from old influences is necessary to create space for your new identity. Micro habits. James Clear explains in Atomic Habits that small daily actions build identity. Reading 2 pages a day makes you a reader. Walking 10 minutes daily makes you an active person. Identity is strengthened by accumulating evidence. The obstacles of identity shifting. Changing identity is transformative, but it is not without challenges. Inner resistance. Your brain seeks safety and consistency. If you have always been shy, it will resist your attempt to act confidence, perceiving it as a threat to stability. Self sabotage. At times, you may fall back into the old identity for comfort or fear. Example: an entrepreneur returning to a secure job out of fear of failure. Social pressure. Friends, family, or colleagues may resist your change. They might say, you've changed. This isn't you. You'll never pull this off. These comments reflect their discomfort with your growth, not your potential. Real life examples of successful identity shifting, from mediocre student to doctor. Instead of saying, I am not smart, they choose the identity of disciplined student, creating strict study routines until success became inevitable. From introvert to speaker. By adopting the identity of communicator, they began speaking in small groups, later addressing larger audiences, ultimately become a recognized speaker. From overweight to athlete, shifting from I'm a foodie who can't resist to I'm a dedicated athlete, allowed them to align nutrition, exercise, and sleep with the new self. The common denominator is that success did not come from willpower alone, but from identity transformation. In conclusion, the process of identity shifting follows a simple yet powerful logic. Identify the old identity, create a clear vision of the new identity, act as if you are already this person, reprogram your mind daily. This path demands perseverance and courage, but unlocks immense power, the ability to become the author of your own life. By consciously choosing identity, you redefine not only who you are, but also what you are capable of achieving. Application and benefits of identity shifting in daily life. Identity shifting is not just an abstract theory, it is a practical tool for personal transformation that can be applied to all areas of life. After understanding what identity is and learning the process of changing it, we now turn to the third dimension, the real life applications and tangible benefits of these shifts. We will explore how identity shifting impacts four major domains: career and finances, relationships, health, and spirituality. We will then examine the long term benefits and challenges of this transformation. Identity shifting and career finances. The professional world is one of the clearest arenas to observe the power of identity. Many people limit themselves by adopting restrictive self definitions such as I'm just an employee, I'm not meant to lead, I don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur. Yet, every career path is a direct reflection of the identity a person chooses. Example: from employee to leader. A young professional may define themselves as just an executor. As long as this identity dominates, they will always wait for others to make decisions. But if they shift to I am a leader, I take initiative, the actions change. They start proposing solutions, speaking up in meetings, and guiding colleagues. Over time, the environment mirrors this identity by offering them leadership roles. From failure to entrepreneur. Many people who fail in their first ventures adopt the identity of loser. But success is not about one outcome. It stems from an identity, that of a resilient, innovative, and confident person. By shifting to this new identity, the entrepreneur learns, adapts, and eventually succeeds. Core benefit: by changing your professional identity, you don't just chase a new position or salary. You become the kind of person who naturally attracts and creates opportunities. Identity shifting and relationships. Our relationships mirror our identities. The way we define ourselves shapes how we love, communicate, set boundaries, and receive affection. Example: from fear of rejection to confidence. Someone who identifies as unworthy of love unconsciously attracts partners who confirm this belief. They tolerate disrespect or indifference because their identity whispers you don't deserve better. But when they shift to I am a person of value, worthy of love and respect, they begin setting boundaries and choosing relationships aligned with this new perception. Another example: from timid to communicative. A person who defines himself as introverted and incapable of speaking in public avoids social situations. By choosing the new identity of communicator, they begin by speaking to small group, then larger audiences. Over time, they embody confidence and social ease. Core benefit: identity shifting builds healthier relationships grounded in respect, clarity, and authenticity. In a sense, we attract what we believe we are. Identity shifting in health. Health is perhaps the most visible area where identity shifts produce radical results. Many people try to go on a diet, start exercising, or quit smoking, only to fail because their underlying identity remains unchanged. Example: from sedentary to athlete. A person who says, I'm trying to work out, constantly struggles against their whole identity. But the moment they declare, I am an athlete in training, their choices shift. Food, exercise, sleep all align with this new identity. Example: from smoker to non smoker. A true non smoker does not fight temptation daily, they simply do not identify as a smoker. This is why lasting change comes when someone stops saying, I'm trying to quit, and starts saying, I don't smoke. That's not me. Core benefits: Health becomes sustainable not through forced behaviors, but by adopting an identity aligned with an healthy body and lifestyle. Identity shifting and spirituality. Beyond mind and body, identity also touches the spiritual dimension. Many philosophical and religious traditions teach that human beings can transcend the ego, the limited identity shaped by environment, and connect with a deeper self. In Buddhism, the concept of anatta, non self, teaches detachment from rigid labels. In humanistic psychology, Maslow described self actualization, becoming the fullest version of oneself. In modern self development, we talk about alignment with one's life mission and core values. Identity shifting, then, is not only about adopting new habits, it is also about reconnecting with the higher dimension of self. Long term benefits of identity shifting: alignment and inner peace. When your thoughts, emotion, and action match your chosen identity, you feel profound coherence. No more inner conflict. You live in alignment. Confidence and self esteem. Every action that confirms your new identity builds confidence. You no longer need to convince yourself. You are that person. Resilience. When challenges arise, your chosen identity gives your strength. If your identity is disciplined person, setbacks don't derail you. You return to consistency. Inspiration. Your transformation inspires others. By changing, you become living proof that growth is possible. The challenges of identity shifting. This path, however, comes with obstacles. Inner resistance. Your whole self will fight to maintain control. External criticism. Others may dislike your growth, projecting fear or jealousy. Consistency. Starting is easy. Repeating daily is the real challenge. These challenges are not barriers, but signs you are leaving your comfort zone. In conclusion, identity shifting is far more than a concept. It is a universal tool for practical transformation. It applies to career, finances, relationships, health, and spirituality. Its benefits are immense: confidence, alignment, inner peace, resilience, and inspiration. Its challenges are real but surmountable through persistence. At its core, identity shifting is not about escaping who you are. It is about unveiling who you have always had the potential to be. You are not becoming someone else. You are shedding limiting labels to reveal a truer, stronger, and freer version of yourself. Now that you understand how identity shifting works, you know that you can change the person you are today into the person you want to become. It starts with small, simple steps like waking up earlier, keeping a promise to yourself, or building one new habit at a time. The key is to do it consistently if you want real transformation. And if you like a step by step guide to support you on this journey, check out the books I've listed in the description. They can give you practical tools and proven methods to make your change easier and faster. What matters most is to start, no matter how small. Every action you take is a vote for the new identity you want to build.